Learn UX design alongside me through my journey of becoming a web and graphic designer. Hello world, I am Ivana and I am a front-end web developer pivoting to web and graphic design. I am currently on my learning journey and this is my first week of a UX design course at the academy that I studied. If you want to see what the previous courses were about, you can check my previous video here on the channel. So, what is UX design anyway? Wikipedia's definition says the following. User experience design is the process of defining the experience a user would go through when interacting with the company, its services, and its products. Design decisions in UX design are often driven by research, data analysis, and test results rather than aesthetic preferences and opinions. I had some knowledge about what UX design is before I started this course, but I've never actually done any research or data gathering or analysis for that matter. I've done low fidelity prototypes before for websites, so I don't know, it will be interesting to learn and to get deep into the UX design part of the design process. So let's go see what the first week was about. So our first lecture of the course was logically an introduction of what UX design is and what we will be doing during the course, what the work of a UX designer includes in general, and what are the steps they would take when designing their product. The UX designers do not create pretty things, is what I took out of it. Only logical and user-centered design. The UX design is in charge of helping the business meet its users. The meeting point between business and users is where the business gives a solution to its users. A product with good UX design should be affordable, accessible, compatible, viable, usable, and desirable. We talked about examples of good and bad UX design, where many people said they think our State Department's websites have very bad UX, which I must agree with. I doubt they invest a lot of money to actually create good, usable platforms. Something else I got out of it is design shouldn't be unique. It should be usable. It should help the user. The conceptual model of the design should match the user's mental model. It is better that the user recognizes what they must do and not be left clueless as to how the product works. Another thing that our teacher showed us, he talked about some design career opportunities, or like what are our options if we want to become UX designers. That could be either as freelance in an outsourcing company or product company. And he showed us many UX related positions, such as the ones on the screen. I have noticed that UX UI designer is a very common job ad recently, but I think they would later require people to be a graphic plus UI designer, and I don't even know if there will be a UX process during the whole job. For those of you who have applied to such openings, what is your experience? Please let me know down below in the comments. From all of these, creative director for now is something that I resonate with. The creative director takes care of consistent and cohesive branding throughout all products, social media, and digital presence. I really like the sound of that, but I will not be planning it for my future for now. Who knows where my path will lead me. If you have knowledge about any of those other positions, some of them are very vague to me, please write it in the comments so I get educated on the real-life implementation of them. I really want to know. Right, so for homework we have, after lecture 1, to choose some subject that we want to create our project for. And I thought about it, wanted to see what kind of problem I would like to solve. I looked through the topics that the teacher gave us. I landed on web app for volunteering work, still not completely clear on how much functionality it will have, but the overview of it will be to have volunteering events for people to sign up for, to have more transparency on what kind of volunteering work is being done, and it might have to be like for in your local area, so that it's tailored after maybe the user's needs or needs needs for volunteering, maybe not, but wants to volunteer, and like so it's closer to them so that they can go and actually do the volunteering. This is at least the plan, but we'll see how it goes. This is what I chose to do. With our first lecture done, and with us figuring out what kind of topic we want to work on, our second lecture started introducing helpful tools for us to start gathering some data for our future apps, for our future products. The second lecture included information on what a proto-persona was, how to create one, and methods of collecting data for our target groups and their needs and pain points. Proto-personas represent a hypothesis we've made about a type of user of our app. It helps us research the pain points of the users, what kinds of problems they have, so that we can later figure out how to solve them. It is the first step of understanding the problem. The next step after creating a proto-persona is gathering data, and after that we get to validate it, this proto-persona and our hypothesis that we've made. There are different types of research, for example quantitative, getting more data for the sake of how detailed it is, and qualitative data, qualitative research, smaller amount of data but far more detailed. Those two are used for different goals and in different cases. In our case, we will be creating a survey and we will be sending them out to, random people in our target group or groups. So I decided to go with two proto-personas. They will be based in the US because I wanted to make my app in English. Therefore, my first persona is a volunteer, a wannabe volunteer who wants to find volunteer opportunities. She is a mother who wants to also teach her son how good volunteering is, and that they can do good by volunteering. However, she has a hard time finding volunteer opportunities. She doesn't know many people who do volunteering in her community, and so she needs a place or an online platform where she can easily find out volunteer opportunities near her, around her location, because she cannot drive long distance to help out. There is some personality that I added to her. She is a bit of a creative extrovert. She's just a tiny bit busier than, other people. She's organized and she likes to work in teams, but she's a bit on the safer side. I added an AI-generated photo just so that I can have some face to the persona. And the other persona is someone who is looking for volunteers. He is in his 50s and he owns a non-profit organization where he wants to help out other people or either people or animals in need, and he's looking for people who want to volunteer their time or money. Maybe some are just investing for his nonprofit to continue doing what they're doing. His personality is a bit more serious, so to say. He's also on the extroverted side, more analytical. He's very busy. He likes to take risks, but he's very organized and he likes to act. Now the rest of the assignment after this lecture is to create a survey. I will create 2 surveys. Each survey is based on each persona, and I will need to be sending it out to people who are in the target group, maybe people who are volunteering or who are looking to gather more volunteers for certain event maybe. And the data from this I need to gather, and I will need to put the data into a table or something, a sheet that I will then need to analyze and create my final personas. All right. So I already created one survey and sent it out. I already gathered some results and they're very interesting. They're very helpful as well. So I don't know if I will make a complete video of analyzing them and creating my final personas, but maybe in the next video I will just mention it and show you the final persona so that we can start going through the user journeys and I don't know, maybe low fidelity prototypes and stuff like this. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope that you learned something and maybe you got interested in checking out what UX design is. I will see you in the next video. Bye!